Hey, we're live on Facebook right now. Thank you so much for all of those that are joining us and watching the show there. I see you, and we'll be taking some of your comments of the everybody that's out there on Facebook watching and listening to the show right now. It's Sports That Amplified with Andile. Thank you so much for the touchdown. Great interview, great chats that he had. He does it again tomorrow between 3 and 6. It's his thing, this thing. If you want big names out in South Africa and international climate, hey, Touch is the one. Speaking of big names, they've been a big name in South African football for so long. Black Leopards are now out of what is known as professional football, the first two tiers of South African football. So we're going to go and have a chat with them. But before that, I'd like to give a shout out to three people in particular at Mzansi Football, at Mlanzeni with a Z1, as well as 10_114, 10_114, because a conversation was started and sparked yesterday from something that Muzzle and I were going at each other at. And that conversation went onto social media, and I was engaging in it, and I figured, no, let's bring it on the air. So at 18:45, as per usual, 18:45, that's when the big magic happens on this show. We'll be taking your calls and your WhatsApps on 060-552-7303 or your WhatsApps. You can start sending them now, because I'll tell you what the conversation is. You can call us on 086-000-2160 as well. The conversation was about the Premier League season, the DStv Premier League season, but not just the league in its entirety. That includes the MTN 8, beginning of the season. That includes the Nedbank end of the season. And the conversation was about Sundowns have tapped out of both cups, but you cannot even begin. You can't even begin to compete or equate what they've done in the league. They won it with 7 games to go, and they won it in emphatic style. But if Pirates come second and make it to the final in or win the Nedbank, who's at a better season? That's the question. If Pirates come second to Sundowns in the league, which is a possibility, they've already got a league under them, a trophy under them. And if they go on to the next one and win it, who's at a better season? Let us know. Let's conversate. Yeah? Desiree Ellis, she's coming up. Black Leopards, Chief Tidiela. We're going to be speaking to them as well.
2023 is the year that keeps on flexing with the Caltex Big Flex promotion. Stand a chance to win one of 10 Fuel for a Year vouchers by filling up with 400 Rand or more at any Caltex forecourt. Win your share of Fuel for a Year and hit the road anytime you want. Thrive while you drive with Caltex Big Flex. Promotion runs until 17 May. T's and C's apply. Caltex, it's how you get there.
RMM Events presents the official Metro FM Music Awards after party, Saturday, 6 May at Mombela Stadium. We right here. Catch Musa Keys, Big Zulu, Babes Wadumo, The Naked DJ, Big Nas, Games of the Weekend, DJ Tira, Likleza, Cubic, Ezra, and many more.
The hottest urban music.
General tickets from $350 and $800 for exclusive VIP and CompuTicket. Metro FM, Black is back.
Attention all caregivers of children. Are you and your children's vaccinations up to date? Vaccinations can prevent serious diseases and prevent hospital stays. Protect your little ones by getting them vaccinated. Don't wait until it's too late. Talk to your healthcare provider today about getting your child vaccinated against serious childhood diseases. Because health matters. This message is brought to you by Sanofi and the National Department of Health.
Hey, great news for social grant recipients. The validity of expired SASSA and Postbank Gold cards has been extended until the 31st of December 2023. This means you can continue using your expired card for transactions at ATMs, purchases, and withdrawals inside shops. This is without needing to switch banks. You'll still receive 3 free purchases per month, and reissues for lost or stolen cards are available. Postbank is still going to issue you with a new card before the 31st of December. You'll be notified when the card is ready for you to collect. But until then, enjoy using your card at all national payment system points. This message is brought to you by Postbank. Postbank, your bank. It's exactly 14 after the hour 6. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Black Leopards have, being relegated from the second tier of South African football, the championship, the Motsepe Foundation Championship, and also Desiree Ellis being given the Order of Ikhamanga. We're going to be speaking to her about that as well. Banyana have something huge that they're doing tomorrow that begins their countdown to the World Cup that they're going to be at. But the Black Leopards conversation is the sore one, isn't it? Because you've got a TTM, and you know we're to think about the TTM status and do, because Gavin Hunt was one of the first to tweet to it's so sad that Bedford Vets through TTM, because that's how the status was sold, were gone, but it's actually not. The status of Bedford Vets is still well and alive, because remember, there's Royal AM involved in that, there's Marumo Gallants involved in that as well. Remember that Marumo Gallants then went and bought TTM, so essentially that's the status that belongs to Bedford Vets. So it's a whole thing that we will explain possibly next week, Monday, when we get into that. But Black Leopards have been a staple in South African football for 25 years. 25 years. And just like that, gone from the abyss of professional football. It's a sad thing. It really is. Black Leopards General Manager, Chifiwa Chief Tidiela, is speaking to us, and we'll be having conversations with him about all things Black Leopards. Desiree Ellis will come on, Banyana coach. We'll speak to her about being given and honored by President Cyril Ramaphosa with the Order of Ikhamanga in gold for her contribution to sport. She is the coach of Banyana that will be taking them to the World Cup too. Chief Tidiela now joins us on the line. Chief, welcome.
Not
a good day, not a great day. I didn't want to have you. I thought I wouldn't need to have you on the show, but as soon as the weekend happened, I thought, I need to have this man on.
Yeah, obviously, I think it's part of life. It's one of those that obviously we are all sad, but we just have to accept it as the time. It's not we've done all that we can. The only thing now is to say, stand up and you go. Maybe the saying said, as they said, Black Leopards little Duva. The day came and we must just accept it.
How do you say that in Venda? How do you say the day came? Because the day will come. How do we then say now the day has come?
Losika
Duva.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad day. I mean, talk to me about, having to relay this to the old man. Was he at the game? Was he watching that final game? Were you guys together? Talk me through watching that last game, that loss that essentially sank you to the abyss of South African football.
I think for me personally, I was better off because I was not there. We were playing at the Val. I did drive down there to meet with the team. He was there with the team. They went to the stadium. I had to drive back to Polokwane because of other arrangements, engagements. But, in the moment, every time, I think they scored, he called immediately to update me on the score. It was very disturbing. It got a bit better because the PSL Twitter account, I think, got it wrong at halftime to say it's 1-1. Then I was actually a bit comfortable to say no. Then there's, light at the end of the tunnel.
Hope, yeah.
Only for him to call me at the end to say that at some point in the second half to say we are 2-0. I said, how can it be 2-0 when it was 1-1 at halftime? But that's where it was. I spoke to him moments later. I think he also left the stadium before the final whistle. Funny enough, I don't even know what the final score was at the match because somebody, I think, said we even scored a goal.
2-0.
We had 2-0. Okay. So when he was coming back, obviously we had to talk. But him being the older one is actually the one who was consoling me to say, no, we have to accept it has happened. It has happened. And, fortunately sit and discuss these things where we can still stand tall. We can still be proud to say we have achieved or we have done 1, 2, 3. That will remain forever in the history books. I think for my father, in this case, I won't even say my president or chairman, a rural local boy from a village of Bufuni, who was a policeman for 17 years, who went to actually fight to achieve such. I mean, if you look, I think before he was even roped into work directly for the PSS as a policeman, he used to call and collect gate takings and take them to the bank the next day. I remember I was staying at Pinville Zone 4, where he will come back with this containers chained with money that comes in, and then on the Monday he takes it back to the to the bank. He was a guy. He even had a dog. Then if you remember the olden days, some people used to even sit close to the touchline at the stadium. He used to have this dog where he used to also manage all those things and manage the crowd until he was roped into work full time at the PSL. I'm mentioning this because of the transition to say having where he has came from, working for the league, to eventually go and be a board member. I think everyone at the PSL or MSL would have been proud of him to say, he was an employee, went on to even sit on the board. So I'm saying as a family, especially because of him, we are proud of the achievement that we've done. I can't mention many people who are CEOs today who come to me and meet me every day to say, we will forever be Black Leopards, because I know my mom took me to varsity because of the money they generated selling stuff at the stadium. I know, though, it is what it is today because of the big contribution that Black Leopards has made. So it is sad. People are very, very sad from all corners of the earth. You even had yourself, you didn't even want to discuss with me, like you had your side before us having this conversation. So it consoles us to say we have done something. I know one official at the league said, hey, Chief, when I am Superman, hey, I don't be around. Speak to some journalists. You go speak to businessmen, even fellow team owners. They will call on a daily basis to say, no, man, what is it that we can do? Guys, please fight, and encourage to say Black Leopards should remain, because Black Leopard has contributed immensely to South African football.
It has. 25 years has not been easy. It's been a long run of ups and downs for you guys, but you've been staple. And I was speaking to Hlompo Kekana yesterday, a former captain, of course, and he's a man that was mentioning all the names and all the people that have come from that, and how you guys gave an opportunity and a chance and a dream to kids in and around the Limpopo, Polokwane areas to say, hey, here it is. We're watching one of our own do this. We can be able to do this, not only in football circles, but in business circles as well. But I wonder, Chief, have you sat down and looked at particularly this season and said, this is why we are where we are? What has been your post-analysis of why today we speak about a Black Leopards that will not exist in the terms of professional football?
It's a bit difficult. Me and you, a few weeks back, we had a conversation. I think we discussed that immensely. I don't even want to necessarily do that, because at this stage, you're mentioning 25 years. For now, it should be a well-oiled machine, or something that we need to easily be able to do with our eyes closed. But football is round, You even try something, this works today, tomorrow does not work. I just think it's God's plan, and if it was time, it's time, because there is nothing that one could have done. I've told you, and I still stick to my words. I said the same. I told you I drove to the Val. I had to speak to the players before the match, and I told them, it's a big bunch of good players, brilliant players, and you will see it with them moving. Obviously, if they're gonna move to other teams, to see that there was immense talent. I think Owen was also a perfect fit. It may have been a bit late for him to come in, but it's something that one cannot really pinpoint to say it was this. Because if we could, we would have easily finished it. I don't think it's anything to do with money. I don't think it has anything to do with preparations. But there is something very tiny that we definitely got wrong. I always compare football to baking. And I will say you will have your flour, your eggs, your margarine, whatever. But you need to have the perfect measure of ounce, You need to have the perfect heat. You need to have the perfect time for your cake to come up properly. So somewhere you mess it up without realizing, but having had everything. But, it's just sad. We wish it was not like this, but it is what it is.
Because I must be very honest, when I looked at it, and this was from the last conversation we had, I said, you went 6 months without winning a game. Between October and I think February this year, You went 6 months without winning a game. Then I looked at the constant changes in coaches as well. I think you went through 5 this season. I remember there being a Morgan Shivahampu that was there. I remember Joe Masuta started, and then now you ended up with an Owen Dagama as well. And I asked myself, does Chief look at all of this and think to himself, Ish, we could have done differently? But I hear from what you're saying now that you've accepted that this needed to be your journey as is.
Yeah, I'd give, because there's quite a lot of perception about us changing coaches. And I don't think there's any club that can change a coach when things are going well. And sometimes we've tried it. Some they say, no, you are impatient. When you are sitting on the other side, it's easy. I'll make an example for you in the studio now. We're listening, we think you just walk in and you come and just talk. It's just easy. Without knowing the preparation, the producers, the whatever reports that you need, whatever, there's a whole lot that has to go into you to come and be audible to us to come in. Now, when you're outside, you think it's just easy. I'll give you facts. Last season, do you know that Joel Masuta went 9 games without a win? So we kept him because we said we don't think our problem is there. I think that's patience. You just calculated now. I cut it. Morgan has always been there. Joel started the season. We brought in Joe Ferreira, who left us in the middle. We didn't fight him. He's the one who resigned and went back to TTM. Then we brought in Owen. So there's not that a lot of changes. We would have only had one. And with Ferreira, who were quite happy, was not winning, but we are also patient enough to have learned to say sometimes you must be able to go and wait. I know in the history of Black Leopards, we'll never forget Jean-Yves Skejen, where people said, he was fired in one match, one loss, and was gone. But what people don't realize is that before
I remember that.
before the season starts, we've got a lot of friendlies and it's preparation time. And you are able to see which direction are you going. Now, the worry was when we were playing against Orlando Pirates Ellis Park, where the instruction was, everyone must remain, no one should pass the halfway line, except one strike, I think, with Murondo.
Never, Chief.
Then, I'm telling you, if you remember the goal, we actually held Pirates. They were not passing that because there was a big, huge 10 buses standing there. Until Khwati took a shot from the halfway line, and it was a goal, it was gone. But our issue was then to say, you cannot play negatively. Besides wanting to win, we must remember football is entertainment. People have spent money to come and watch. We need to display something, obviously positively, and be able to also go and win. You're not going to win all, but it needs to remain entertainment. You can ask any of the former players, well, explain that instruction that it was there at that time.
So the coach said to the team, Bona, halfway line, only one player crosses.
Murondo Spirit only. I'm sure you've heard a lot. I mean, clubs can come and tell you the weakness that I must take blame also of, and then we'll just use apartheid as an excuse. We tend to bring a lot of plumbers and a lot of carpenters in the country, where one coach actually, by mistake, he blabbered it out to say, you'll find somebody who's a barber in this country and he comes to South Africa and is a top coach. And with football, sometimes you can be lucky. A person can come in and just be lucky and win matches, but with nothing that he's really doing. So we've had quite a lot, I think, the pressure that we get as football team owners is you want to succeed. And then somebody will come with a big CV and you are able to get it there. And I've explained. I made an example when we were arguing on our family well to discussing trying to get a coach. I said, the last time we got promoted to the DSTV Premiership, we were with Joel. And at that time, he did not even have any qualification. But there were people with UEFA A licenses whom he beat hands down. So it's a bit of a complex situation where it's difficult to get the right person, but sometimes he pop, sometimes he crap. So, you just need luck.
Black Leopards General Manager, Chief TDL, speaking to us, of course. The status of Black Leopards in South African football means that they've gone to the abyss of South African football, the unprofessional part of it, the two leagues, which is the DStv Premiership as well as the Motsepe Foundation Championship. They've succumbed to the lower leagues of that, relegated from the second tier of South African football. What does this now mean moving forward? The last time we spoke, you said, hey, this means maybe, the family can start keeping the money that they've been spending on this. But I also know that there's a status that's up for sale in the championship that you've just come from. And I do know the price as well. What is the next step for you guys? Are you considering it?
How much is it? No, I think sitting, we need to sit and really discuss and see. The pressure that we have is the community. There is so many people that are attached to the club. Not only people attached to the club, but also South African football is attached to the club. The people who are non-Black Leopard supporters, but who will always love Black Leopards or sympathize with Black Leopards. So for us, it's the contribution that it has made. I've spoken about the socio-economic development that is brought to our province or our district of Bembe specifically. And it's a discussion we need to go sit down. But at the same time, you don't want to go buy something and still not find that thing. You asked me a good question where we need to see where it went wrong. I think it's mostly time. Contrary to what popular belief, we've sort of stepped back and hire people and put people there. I mean, I'm based in Polokwane. The team is in Tando and Malamlel. My dad hardly goes to training. Some matches we don't even watch. I told you I went in the morning. I didn't even watch the match. I drove back because obviously we need to make sure that the other business are working well so that we can be able to fund Black Leopards. But I think that is a problem that when we are not close or sometimes when you're not necessarily hands-on, you tend to miss somewhere where they are fault.
Chief, I mean, that's a lot. To say something that is taking $1 million a month of your money and you're leaving it to everybody else and none of you are hands-on involved?
We do. You try to get people to say, they will be responsible. That's what I'm saying, contrary to popular belief. Sometimes even who's playing, you see it when you arrive at the stadium to say, oh, this one. Because some people think, no, they interfere a lot. Any coach can come tell you, we just leave them, they go as we will ask her for a report during the week or prior to say, explain to us what is it and whatever. But if you have hired people, you can't still be going there. I mean, if we want to coach ourselves, we won't need to spend so much money hiring some other people. But we wanted it to be an organization. We wanted it to be a legacy that, like I said, that it's for the community, that can even continue. I want Black Leopards to succeed even when Chief is not there. I am just, even now, most probably because it's young and maybe because of the issue that may need me. Even on the care space, if you check, I was not doing that anymore to say, but let's give other people a chance. Let's groom people, let them grow as well. And let Black Leopards be able to move without necessarily to say, no, David must be there or Chief must be there. It could have been a bad step because sometimes who you hire, you could think they could look good on, but by that, they're not for the vision.
I think the price that was articulated here was 12 million, I think it was. You spend $1 million anyway, so plus minus 12 million. You spend $1 million a month. This means you're spending 12 million of your own money at Black Leopards. There's a status that's up for sale for 12 million. Should I broker a deal?
So how we say it and how we look at it, it will not be a business sense. It should not make economic sense because it will never make economic sense. So our decision is never going to be based on prices or economics, because I've explained to you to say maybe one team in the PSL, I mean DStv Premiership and the Motsepe Foundation Championship, that makes a profit. Nobody, that I can guarantee you. Some people used to say Sundowns is rich, and I say they're the ones who run at the biggest loss. Their owner is rich, but the club, their income and expenditure, they are at different levels. it being that now for us to go and do that, we will not worry about money. I don't think anyone who's in football, you can in football if you do not have money. But for us, the pressure that we're having, I mentioned it before to you to say, if we were out of football, we'll definitely be having our own private jets. But we are not here and we don't have the money because of our own doing. It's because of the community. Now, that's the debate as a family that we need to go sit down and have to say, here's this community that was relying on us. Here's this community that their jobs are reliant on our survival, on our existence. What are we then going to do from there? But I think it just happened now. We still have 2 matches to go. We want to bow out, and I won't say in style, but with dignity, go on our last 2 matches. And then from there, we'll have to sit down as a family and decide which direction are we going to go.
The last game, you're playing Venda Football Club, right?
Yes.
Where are you playing them?
And Brando, obviously. They are same, we share the ground.
I mean, I can only imagine how emotional and how big that's going to be. At the Toronto Stadium, Venda Football Club versus Black Leopards. I think if you've ever loved football and if you are from that area, if you've ever played football from that area, everybody must go in. That should be a brilliant day. I can't wait to see what's going to come out of it. And I know it's going to be emotional for you and your family. That's one you can't miss, Chief. I know you've got other businesses to run, but that's one you can't miss. That is going to be an occasion for Limpopo and Polokwane.
Yeah, I think I'm looking beyond that. Remember, our operations as directors or shareholders is 3 months ahead. I need to go have a meeting after with the family, even before that match, to say, here are the options. What can we do? I think
what are those options? What options are you laying on the table? What are the options?
No, obviously we look at our business interests to say, are we going to expand in that direction? Like I mentioned, to say, do we want to go and be more focused on development? There is an agreement that we are coming in with the university, especially for the rural kids, where we want to do proper development, because I think our struggle in Limpopo is mainly because of lack of development, lack of facilities, and lack of government support. So for us, that's an option where we can say we can go and just focus mainly on the development side of football. Because I can tell you, football is a drug. Once you are hooked, you are hooked. There's no way you're going to get out. So we'll go and look at all those options to try and make sure that a local boy from Limpopo gets the proper training and proper opportunity to grow big. You just mentioned the Trompokekan. I can tell you, I signed Trompokekan, I think it was at 15. He could not even sign a contract. His mom had to come in and sign it. So there's a lot of those in the rural areas. It's just that there's lack of facilities. Black Leopards stayed in Polokwane for so long because there's no facilities around Bembe. TTM and Venda football are actually further up in Lustrisha because there's no facilities in Bembe where they can be able to train. Now, west, we even have a crazy municipality in Thulamela that charges us 50K to play a match. And they've got stadiums that are dilapidated where, they can't even give to a team or a team in the ABC Mutepe League to say, there's a facility, just make sure you maintain it. So things like those, we'll need to go and sit and look at them to say, let us get somewhere where we can make a change in football, even if it's not in professional league. Obviously, from other angles of the family, the issue you've just mentioned of purchasing a status will come in. Some were even saying, no, man, get a premier division as once. So there's different things where we'll need to really, really sit down and check which route can we take.
And that kind of money is available to just go, let's go premiership straight.
Hey, we'll go get a loan at the bank.
No, man, the TDL pockets are deep. No, I appreciate it, Chief. Listen, you're a lot less emotional than what I expected. You're very soberly business-minded about what's happened. But, we wish, especially for those that need the survival of football in that area, we wish that you and your family continue to do something so that the name Black Leopards doesn't fall. I mean, I saw visuals of Prajay watching his team and in the setup that he's playing now, and I wondered if the old man would be able to do something like that. I'd love to see you guys continue in whatever form. We wish you well.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's just unfortunate. We know with leadership positions, when you have got a lot of people who are crying behind you, you need to be strong, stand in front and, lead. So, unfortunately, there's no time. In Chivendavare, you can't cry over space.
Well,
The only thing is to go look for a new car, right?
Well, you are. There's plenty. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Nah.
That there is the voice of Black Leopards General Manager Chifiwa Chief Tidiela. The football community in Limpopo was suffering a major setback with this weekend when two of its clubs, Black Leopards and TTM, were relegated from South African professional ranks.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
I've got the referee, Victor Shongwane, Mazola Mulefu as well.
Former head of communications at Amazulu, Pumlani Dube, called a press conference where he revealed that there is a drinking culture at Amazulu Football Club. But we then put forward to Brendan Tute to say, you were here just a couple of months ago. Is it true? And this is what Brendan Tute had to say.
Yes, no, it's true. Players came to training drunk, smelling of alcohol. I'm not going to lie to anybody, so yeah.
Shortly after we spoke to Brendan Tute, Cobra Dlamini then came in.
If you go out and say people that are drunk at this guitar, then maybe Bestawa now is Katusada.
Weekdays, 6 till 7 p.m. on Metro FM. The Metro FM Music Awards are back to honor and celebrate the best of South African music.
I am Refilwe Mtsweni Tsipane, Premier of the Mpumalanga Province. Mpumalanga is ready to welcome all visitors to the home of the rising sun. We pride ourselves as a province with breathtaking natural scenery, the world-renowned tourism adventures. Be part of the Metro FM Awards on the 6th of May 2023 at the Mbombela Stadium to experience a memorable hospitality that Mpumalanga will offer. At the God's Window, the Three Rendezvous, Graskop Gorge, Makonja Mountain, a World Heritage Site, the Kruger National Park, the Sudwala Caves, the waterfalls, amongst others. Let's grow Mpumalanga together through the Metro FM Awards.
The biggest night on the South African music calendar, brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Yeah, we gon' get them. Get connected. Yeah. Call now. 0860-002-160. Yeah, we gon' get them. Get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
It's exactly 6:42 on the Mighty Metro FM. But Black is back. Kalaya Manyora. We'll be all heading down to Mpumalanga this coming weekend. Are you with us? The pre-parties, the after-parties, the huge celebrities and musicians that will be lining up. And, of course, the show. Oh, man, it's going to be a great one. I mean, I've heard and I've seen some of the presenters that are going to be going on, some of the artists that are going to be performing. Trust me, you want to be a part of it. If you haven't yet made your plans, and make sure that you do, come down and get in with the Metro FM Music Awards. Desiree Ellis, we're trying to get a hold of her so we can congratulate her on the Banyana job that she's done so well that the president took note and said, no, man, let's give you something and bestow an honor upon you. The President Cyril Ramaphosa saying, here it is. It's the Order of Ikhamanga in gold. In gold even. Yeah. So football is conversations, guys. As you know, on Fridays we have Podcast Fridays, which is all about Conversation Fridays as well. And we pit things against each other and we argue and we challenge each other, but we do so respectfully all the time. And nobody's always right. sometimes the popular thought goes left and the popular thought goes right, and we all come to a consensus to agree or disagree, or sometimes even agree to disagree. So let's keep those SMSs, those WhatsApps, as well as phone calls coming in a couple of minutes. We've got Desiree on the line now. Buddy, I am so happy for you.
Hi, Andile. Thanks for having me, and welcome to the listeners.
Desiree, where is it right now? Where are you keeping it right now?
It's actually in my flat. I'm in camp, and it's in my flat, in the box.
Surely you didn't expect that.
It's not just a medal around my neck.
Yeah.
It's a little pin and a smaller version of it, so it's just really amazing.
Did you even think of that? Like, I've never even thought about it. It's never been, when it was said that Desiree Ellis is in line to get, I said, wow, of course. But up until then, did you ever even think?
No, not at all. I mean, it wasn't even thought about, it didn't even cross my mind.
Had you ever met the president before that?
Yes, I have. When we came back from WestCon, we went to the union building. And
oh, yes, of course, yeah.
And prior to that, just the day before the final, we also had a Zoom with the president. Same in 2018, we also had a Zoom with him.
Des and I used to work together here at the SABC as an analyst. And Des, I think one day after the World Cup is done, because I know the preparations right now are so crazy, you've got to go and give your best, which you always do. You need to come in here and inspire every young person in this country, and even some old ones, with your story. Because I remember at Desiree Ellis that would fly up to come here and do TV shows to analyze football. And I remember times when you were running your website and you weren't sure of your left foot from your right foot. I look at you now, and even I get inspired with everything that you've achieved.
Andile, people forget that they all have a story to tell. And people forget by who they are and what they do, they inspire others. I mean, I look at Caster Semenya, and not just because we're friends. If you look at everything that she's gone through, she's still staying strong. She's still going out there and making the difference. So everybody has a story to tell, but we don't get to hear those people's stories. And the stories that we get and the stories that we hear, every little bit in there inspires us.
Yeah, when you come here, I don't want to hear about tactics and football. I want to hear your story. We're going to be talking a lot of that during the World Cup there. How's the preparations going for the World Cup? How are the girls doing? How much pressure are you feeling? I know you've got something big that you guys are doing tomorrow as well.
Yes, we have something big, yes. Well, the pressure's already there when you get to the national team because, out of thousands, I don't know how many thousands of female footballers out there, we can only choose a certain amount. So the players that come in already feel under pressure. We already feel under pressure. We know we are a results-driven country, and rightfully so. People want results. But we look at something now bigger than the result. We look at, yes, just the result, and getting ourselves ready for the World Cup. So every camp we come in, we work on things and we look for progress. Because you can win a game and not play well, and nothing shows what we've been working on. So now we're working with a group of local players, also, working on our structure, our organization, defensively, offensively, because, that's got to be better at the World Cup.
You're going into this World Cup, of course. In Africa, you've been heralded as the best there is. It's not only showing South Africa, but it's representing the continent of Africa to show the differences and the standards and the levels of the different footballing worlds, really. You've done a bit of a tour where you've gotten out of South Africa to play. Where do you think we rank at the moment with our readiness, but also the level to which we are?
Look, we're not where we should be, but, at this moment, it's all about getting ready for the World Cup. So every camp we come to, we look at progress, we look at the process. And if you look at the last camp in February and the one in April, I think there was a huge improvement, not just fitness, but, organization, especially in open play. Yes, we know there's a challenge with set pieces, and we've worked a lot on that over the last couple of months. We will continue working on that. We're not a group of tall players, so we've got to make sure that we're really, really well organized and everybody knows there are set pieces. We conceded 2 against Serbia, but in the second half, we didn't give them a position or another set piece in any part of the game. So that really, really went well us in that essence. But it's just about the local group of players, making sure that the overseas-based players come, that we don't have that big gap, and that's what we're working towards. So step by step, but we have to be at our absolute best come the World Cup. We have another camp in the middle of June to prepare as well. And that's going to be just as crucial to get ready for the World Cup.
Tembi, how's she doing? Is she getting better?
No,
Is she going to make it?
Today. It's actually a birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday to Tembi Khatlana.
I just chatted to her earlier just to wish her happy birthday. And she's been doing really well at the club. I'm already training with the team. And we're getting regular updates from her. Our conditioning coach is also in contact and getting regular. And we're really happy with her progress. It's still a while to go, but she's training with the team, and soon hopefully she'll get some minutes, and that will be really exciting for us.
Coach, for those that are listening now, and I know there's a lot who've come onto the show and who've said, hey man, I'm only hoping, I'm doing my best. The door is still not closed for anybody, surely, that can still make that team? Or do you have your 30, 40 that you're working on, or that's that? Or can somebody still be, an underdog and come in and still get themselves a call-up to go to the World Cup?
The door can never be closed, Andile. I remember 2018, we were busy preparing for WAFCON. We were having a selection camp, and one of the players that was drawn before camp started, and that Sunday we needed to get someone. And I went to a game, and we saw a player there. She made the WAFCON squad and went to the World Cup. So we don't close the door to anyone, because we cannot do that. We have to make sure that we have the right mix of youth and experience, that we have, like we said for WAFCON, we wanted to choose a squad for every eventuality, and we did. This is a couple of levels up, and we've got to make sure that we choose a similar squad for every eventuality.
Des, I can't wait to have you in studio when that World Cup is done and dusted, not to speak football, but to inspire, to speak about, how to get back up when things seem tough, how to see beyond what seems to be in front of you. Thank you so much for talking to us. This call was just to say congratulations, well deserved, and I can't wait to see what you do at the World Cup and have those conversations when you come back. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me, Andile.
That is Desiree Ellis there, who is the coach of Banyana Banyana. Always a tough conversation with her because I consider her a friend. I consider her somebody close to me. Let's take a break. When we come back, Timmy tells me, hey, yeah, I know, Askadi voice note. You can give us a call as well. It's 086 000 2160. It's the Mighty Metro FM. This is Sports Night Amplified with Andile.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
It's the three not so wise men. I've got the referee, Victor Hlongwane. We call him the principal. I've got Mazola Mulefer as well. One coach says there's a drinking culture at that team that I was at. The other coach responds and says,
maybe there's Dagwanai.
Yo, maybe there's Dagwanai. Lunga, in the report, yeah? Lunga.
We can't be talking about things as a cruise and my trainings and all that. There was this case that I know personally, whereby he loses Spani because he had an affair, the mistress, the boss of one of the teams.
Who is that person? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't even say names, but you're expecting names.
No,
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go.
2023 is the year that keeps on flexing with the Caltex Big Flex promotion. Stand a chance to win one of 10 Fuel for a Year vouchers by filling up with 400 Rand or more at any Caltex forecourt. Win your share of Fuel for a Year and hit the road anytime you want. Thrive while you drive with Caltex Big Flex. Promotion runs until 17 May. T's and C's apply. Caltex, it's how you get there.
Attention all caregivers of children. Are you and your children's vaccinations up to date? Vaccinations can prevent serious diseases and prevent hospital stays. Protect your little ones by getting them vaccinated. Don't wait until it's too late. Talk to your healthcare provider today about getting your child vaccinated against serious childhood diseases. Because health matters. This message is brought to you by Sanofi and the National Department of Health.
We gon' get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
Andile, Jimmy Maga, the busy corner of Motsebe, congrats to Des, my bra. Where's the president? There you be, my bra, Asiman Lemang. that means you are doing a very, very, very good job, my brother. Congrats to you, and then Adi Blessing City, Teramole Hisa, Andile, Jimmy Mago, the busy one of Motsebe, Dangima, Ralebu Hampana,
I appreciate you.
Tabiso from Blue.
Hey.
It's really sad and heartbreaking for what just happened to Black Leopards, a club with such a history that is Limpopo on its back. You know, it's sad. I have a problem. This thing of status, selling status, buying status is confusing. You know, I really forgot that there was a club called Pit Vets that became TTM. All those. Can the PSL please stop selling status? It's confusing. I said, believe man. I don't let about the status. It's confusing. We forgot about the other teams that we did have a club called Pit Vets because of the status things.
When I was thinking about clubs that are no longer. I mean, if you go back, I mean, Hellenic was one that came because I was driving past where they used to train, and I thought to myself, hey, no one Hellenic before. Imagine that. And most have even forgotten there was a Hellenic. If they don't, most don't even know perhaps that there was a club called Hellenic. But then Jama Cosmos, watching Projay. We must talk to Projay. We must have Projay on. Out there watching his team still playing in the unprofessional setups, contrary to what he's used to. There's another legend of South African football. I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping, that Swallows Football Club, when they do sell it, because I've got a strong feeling it's going to go that way. If and when it does, that whoever buys it signs some sort of contract to say we'll keep it, Swallows Football Club. Yes, it'll be under new ownership like what you do now. Man United is for sale. We know that. The Glaziers are selling it. You know, we've got Radcliffe that's looking at it. We've got a Saudi a buyer that's looking at it. But it's going to remain Man United.
Good evening, Andile. I'm Lutin Epinone. Hey. Zibuhlungu indaba zeLeopard kodwa ke mina ngibuye ngibona ngazuthi nabo badembesele man basuke badembesela kakhulu. Bese ngithi kule inkulumathi wesho hayi maphili phakathi mayingawina vele izoyindlula iSundowns ngokubona kwami sizoba nesizini enhle kunayo ngoba phela manje iwine yokuwina amakhapha amabili uphinde beku number 2 iSundowns yobusathola yodwa.
Tabiso.
Surely para.
Hey,
quick. If Pirates go on to win the Nedbank Cup and then they go on to be number 2, and then Sundowns, if they go on to win Champions League, I would say Pirates and Sundowns have equaled. I mean, like Pirates have equaled Sundowns' success.
You say win the Champions League.
The reason being, Pirates started this season with a new coach, and then Sundowns had everything structured. Everything was like organized. Pirates had to build from nothing to something. So I would say if Pirates go on to win the Nedbank Cup and then be number 2, and then they've equaled. And we've also beaten Sundowns in the semi-finals to the finals of MTN 8.
Our conversation was just on the PSL. So if you're going to take it outside of that, we'll see you. Let's go to the calls there. Kaya is out in Cape Town. Kaya, welcome.
Yes, Brandon, how's it?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Very much and thank you to the Metro FM listeners. Look, Andile, the E-League and the E-Cup, we can never compare the quality or rather the status or rather even
the worth.
A team who wins the league has far surpassed the achievements of a team who would win your usual trophies. For an example, Pirates, including the final, would have played, I think, something like 8 games if you were to include the final. Whereas with the league, Sundowns would have played 30 games in total to have won the league. So that tells you about the longevity. That tells you about the project that the team has put on in order for them to win the league. So it's a marathon, Andile. It's not a short-term goal. It's a long marathon, and the season out goes on for almost 8 months. And there's injuries in between. There's players in between. There's travels to Africa and back. So it's a lot that a team puts in order for them to win the final.
But
team who have won trophies, you cannot speak to them in the same book. You close the book, then you speak about the next team who have won the trophies thereafter.
So the 2 trophies and coming second does not equate to just winning the league.
Never.
All right.
Never. over. We can even not even talk about it in the
Who do you support, Kaya?
station.
Kaya?
Yes.
Who do you support?
I support Kaiser Chiefs.
Oh, that's a very sober-minded appeal then. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. He's gone there. Let's take another one. I can't see a name there. It's a little too far. To me, you know, when I'm not wearing my glasses, that far always gets me. But nonetheless, let's take the call. Hi, welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, talk to me.
It's me, Fortune. I'm Jabla this week.
Fortune. Ujabuliswa yini?
Over.
Ujabuliswa yini?
Amabhakani abayenza into zingifunayo izinto mnandi.
Obviously, I know what you're thinking and your thoughts are.
This season, hey. At least, something is nothing than nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I Jabla over. More fire, Bagania, more fire.
Fortune, I appreciate it. Thank you so much there, Fortune. Out Mambisa. He's out of here. Thank you so much, Fortune. I really appreciate you. Let's take one last one. Faith is already in the studio getting ready. You know, she's got like a thesis that she needs to get through. Let's go to Mpumalanga, where Metro FMs are going to be. Manta.
Hey, Andile, how are you, Bob?
And get right, man. We vale. Wako walk in. Sure, where now we going.
You going to and I'll be straight on point. Why do we have to preempt things that are not yet there?
That's what football is, though. That's what we do in football. That's all we do. We speculate, we calculate. That's all we do.
Yeah, and these calculations never worked for South Africa before. So stop what you're doing, my brother. Records are there. Sundowns have won the league 7 games to go.
That stays.
Uncomparable. That's a fact. And Sundowns are on the verge of participating on a semi-final for CAF.
Yeah, but that's not PSL. That's not PSL. We're talking about PSL.
What qualifies one to play in the CAF Champions League?
No, for sure.
For you to win. Yeah, it's for you to win the league, not the second best. Those ones will remain the second best, not as the Champion League.
You know what?
So
you've closed it. That's it.
Let's close it. Sundowns by far have the best season.
Can I tell you who else? Can I tell you who else feels exactly the same way?
You do.
Coach Rulani Mukwena feels exactly the same way.
Greatest of them all. He's the greatest of them all.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
A master tactician.
Yeah, in Mpumalanga, are we seeing you at the Metro Awards?
I'll be right there, brother. Enjoy yourself.
Madla.
Safe travel as you're coming down to Mpumalanga.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And that's a fair conversation there. Speaking of fair conversation, I don't know if we can call the next 2 hours fair conversation because it's Muhammad Ali and Andile whenever people get into that ring. For the next 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be listening into amazing radio, and we listen with Faith. Faith?
Hi.
Mvule Malcolm. Why Mvule Faith?
Did he not open my thing?
Aye.
Malcolm, I'm so jealous. Are you not? Seriously?
Malcolm doesn't want to.
Seriously?
Okay, let's move mics.
Okay,
let's move
me?
mics.
All right, let me move.
Malcolm doesn't like you.
He adores me. That much I do know about him, Shem. You know,
You're
like that much.
man. What's that game called where you have to go under a rope?
I was a gymnast.
How low can you go?
I was a gymnast. It's a story for another day. I should be doing sports when it comes to that. Like, really was.
Really should. When I'm not available, you taking over. What's going on?
Yeah, we've got lots in store for us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Of course, the trial has resumed. Lots
what is
of
it?
action.
9 years later.
Yeah, and of course we've got Malesela Tefo, Advocate Malesela Tefo. On one side, they call him the disbarred advocate. On the other side has been the reinstated advocate. So we're going to get clarity from that, and also looking at exactly where are we with this trial, because we get lost within the hype as well as the noise around it. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to visit the Life Esidimeni inquest. The inquest was suspended for about 6 months because they were failing to get a hold of people to testify. There's a gross injustice. We're going to be speaking to the family members that lost loved ones. Or should I say, where loved ones were murdered. Either way, it's wrong. So we're going to be speaking about the Life Esidimeni inquest. And then, after 8 o'clock, is your relationship toxic? And what do we do when your relationship becomes abusive?